Hi,
Hello.
how you doing?
Yeah. Well, we're doing the last episode of Picard season 3,
Yeah,
the finale,
yeah,
um, and it's called The Last Generation.
it
So,
is.
bit sad that it's but another great episode. Really, really pleased about it. Um, and the first thing we did notice, or I noticed anyway, was Anton Chekhov. And I think I noticed
Yeah,
about this as well. Apart from being Anton Chekhov's son,
yeah.
and his name, and obviously it's Pavel Chekhov as his
But
dad.
we've only just figured that out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't understand at the time
And you said because his name was Anton was because
because the chap who played him in the reboot movies um, was a really good actor called, I think his name was Anton Yeltsin, wasn't it, or something like that. And he died
yeah. Well,
quite
he was.
very young. But
Well, I first saw him in Odd Thomas.
yeah, he was great in that. It's a really
Yeah,
good
he was a good
adaptation.
actor.
Yeah, of
Really, really young to
yeah.
die. Yeah, shame.
But yeah,
Yes.
so I mean, it's weird because literally we just spoke about that before we went on. But I didn't realize because when I heard that at the time and it said President Chekhov, I was like, oh, Chekhov's still alive because he is
Yeah,
still alive in real life. The guy who plays him. So I
yeah,
thought, well, maybe that's him. But then he said, my father would have,
yeah.
be
Also,
proud of you. And I was like, what's he talking about? And I didn't make the connection that it wasn't Pavel Chekhov,
yeah, it's
is the
Pavel.
guy
Yeah.
we know from the original series. So
He's
they
still
obviously,
alive, that fellow as well.
yeah, Walter Koenig or something. Yeah, he's in the
Koenig,
credits of the
yeah,
show.
he was
Um,
great in Bab Five
yeah,
as
I mean, he
the.
did the voice. He did the voice for Jack for the president, didn't he? Because he was in the credits.
I think they kind of mixed it towards the end because the
Oh, did
Anton
they?
Chekhov. That's what it sounded like to me because it was like, oh yeah, Pavel Anton Chekhov's the prime minister, brilliant. And then just towards the end, I could hear Walter Koenig's voice at the end of
Oh,
it.
oh.
It was definitely his voice. It was
Yeah.
definitely towards the end. Well, it didn't sound like all of it was him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up, but
I don't know. But yeah, that was a little sort of interesting thing I wasn't expecting. And I thought
yeah,
maybe were we gonna? I thought maybe we would see him. Because it's not beyond the
yeah.
realms of possibility that he could have just been Pavel Chekhov. But
He's in his 80s. He
they're
has
all
lost a bit of hair, but he could wear a wig. It's all right.
yeah.
It's allowed.
Picard
You know what
hasn't got
I mean?
any hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're all
No, he was
fucking really
great in
old.
Bab Five. He was a cycle, the leader of the cycle,
Yeah,
wasn't
he
he?
was.
A
Yeah,
real evil bastard. Yeah,
there's a lot of voice acting stuff as well. So yeah, that was cool. So
yeah.
that was after. Well, that was right at the beginning, wasn't it? Or was that?
Right at the beginning, yeah. I think that was before the credits, and then they decide to go to the solar system and um, go to Jupiter. So they figure out there's something wrong with Jupiter. Because I was wondering what they're going to do. There's like thousands of ships. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But anyway, they got into the solar system and figured out that Jupiter, something up with that. Data figures that out. And they go there and then they see that there's a ball cube in the eye of Jupiter, which is thought any place
yeah,
on Jupiter, why would you put it in there?
yeah,
Because it's a bit of a dangerous situation, I would have thought. I mean, your shields be,
yeah.
and
It's
pressure
just
of the,
it's a big storm. Yeah.
the gases and everything, yeah. So, yeah, anywho,
Yeah. I mean, just the whole. I mean, to be honest, if there is a problem with this episode, that's probably it. Is that it's just one ball cube. There's no one on it really. There's no defense. I mean, there's some defenses, but they're not really up to much. And
yeah,
they got like it was pretty simple for them to. We're jumping ahead again, but like it was pretty simple really for the Enterprise to sort that out.
yeah. Well,
But yeah,
but I thought of all the places on Jupiter, the, the sort of storm of infinity that it's
yeah.
always there is probably not the best place to park it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting actually because like they were looking at Jupiter on the view screen, and Picard just went there. And then they zoomed in, and I was like, "What do you mean there? Where?" Like they had the whole of Jupiter. Do you know how big
It's
that
the
fucking
biggest
thing is?
planet in the
He
solar
just
system.
pointed, and then it just zoomed in immediately. It's like,
Yeah, there's quite
daft
a
old
lot.
fella.
There's there's quite a lot of influence from Alien and Aliens, I thought, in this one as well. But I'll go into that when it turns up.
Oh,
Um, Ridley Scott Alien and James Cameron Alien. But
oh,
anyway, um, the next thing that sort of happens that I think, hang on a minute, was the phaser beam thing they've just invented. So what happens is, so we're on with the Enterprise, and they're all sorting the thing out with Jupiter. Then we go back to the Titan with Raffi, Seven, and a few, ragtag people
yeah.
over
Doctor
25.
Oak, the Doctor was back. The Doctor that we who got usurped by Beverly Crusher
Oh, I
was
suppose
there.
she's over 25, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, maybe she.
Sorry, love.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens to all. It happens to everyone. Um, or maybe not. Maybe not that guy who played Pavel Chekhov.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
oh. I wish I hadn't said that now.
yeah. Me too.
Um, anyway, so Seven's on the Titan with Raffi, and what they're doing is sort of running interference for well, I don't know what reason really, but they're going around strafing the.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's weird because they had the cloaking device, didn't they? And they were sort of like, you know,
Right, okay, I think I've got
it's
it
it's
now.
not very. To be honest, it wasn't that clear. There were a few problems in that episode, like because they were there in the middle of everything, and they were sort of like just sort of okay, and no one was attacking them or anything. But
Right.
then I think it's because like they thought they were, the changelings were in control, or the young people that had been assimilated. But then they managed to sort of just take the bridge again. They just
Yeah.
sort of beamed them out, or they shot at them and they beamed into the transporter room.
Yeah. Anyway, so they retake the bridge and they've got a cook on helm or a cook pilot. That's all
Oh right,
right.
yeah,
Kind of reminds me a bit of Shell from, I think it was Shell. Shell from TNG, who was a hairdresser. And also, there was a Bolian guy on Voyager who took over cooking from Neelix. And yeah, that kind of thing where they get, someone who's sort of in the background to come up to, stand up and get. I wonder if he'll become the pilot from now on. Oh no, because they've got the forge, haven't they? So, anywho,
yeah,
um, Worf gets a good moment when he says threesome.
yeah. I will make a threesome.
Do you
Yeah,
even hear yourself? I thought that was a nice moment.
yeah. He gets a couple of good moments in there actually.
He
Yeah.
does. It's getting all the good moments. Yeah.
So this is when they're sort of like they've got to the ball cube and they're like, well, we have to go down there, obviously. Um, and Data's like sitting there and he's like, God, I hate the Borg because he's
Yeah.
got feelings now and he's like, I hate them.
Yeah.
I
It's
hate
good
them.
that
I
he's got
do.
feelings. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know why three of them had to go down, but then it transpires that yeah. I mean, Picard had to go and pick his son up, and Worf had to go and go with Riker and find the beacon, which is so that the beacon's in the middle of the Borg ship, and that's been used to amplify um, Jack's brain
yeah,
to send orders to the rest of the Borg collective. Um, so they need to find that. So yeah, the thing I noticed was that the necrotized the drones are sort of all like the decaying, aren't they? And the Borg Queen's cannibalising them. So I'm not sure why that would need to happen, but it did. So no, I mean it's handy because they
yeah.
don't have any staff to, confront
Well, it's
Worf and
like
the
they,
rest of them.
yeah. I mean, again, it's a bit confusing, not so super consistent because I don't understand why they. Because she was like, oh, there's no point assimilating people anymore when we can just like, where we can assimilate them technologically rather than biologically.
Yeah, that's a bit
And it's kind
inconsistent.
of like, so they just stopped But she did sort of say something that alluded to the fact that they've been prevented from assimilating people. But then I was like, have I missed an episode of TNG or something? Um, to be honest, the whole episode was a bit, rushed, like you say, a little bit with this stuff
It could
because,
have been a film. It could have
yeah,
been, yeah, it could have been like hour and a half, 2 hours long easily, and then they
yeah,
could have maybe ironed out a few of these things that confuses me. But yeah, I
but
mean, this is where I got the sort of the aliens thing from, because the ship does look like aliens at the moment. And also, when you see the bald queen, she's H.R. Geiger. You know, they've
yeah,
messed up side of her face. You know, it's all that artwork from Aliens. So there was that. I didn't recognise the lady, but I recognised the voice, and it was Alice Krieg, wasn't it?
it was, yeah.
Yeah, did the voice. She's got a very but I looked up the lady who physically plays her, which is Jane Edwina Seymour. Yeah,
Oh,
new on me as
good on
well.
you, Jane.
Yeah.
Well done, Jane. Hope you
Uh,
got paid enough for that.
the other thing that sort of threw me through a loop as well was the line of sight propagation that Raffi brings up when they're talking about how the Armada, the Starfleet Armada, is doing its formation thing. But
Yeah.
I thought line of sight, really. I thought they'd all figure that out. I thought it was an
Subspace.
automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
wouldn't
thought
need it. Yeah.
I thought it was like an automatic. I mean, the whole reason for for doing that was so they didn't have to, send coordinates to each other and coordinate the fleet that way. It just sort of happened automatically. Line of sight. Why
Yeah.
would a
I mean,
computer need line of sight?
yeah, it didn't sort of, again, like
Yeah.
it wouldn't, I don't think it mattered really. But it's weird because I noticed that, but then they didn't actually utilize that piece of information at all. It wasn't like, let's get in between these two ships and stop them coordinating with each other. It wouldn't make a difference anyway because there's like a fucking thousand other ships.
Well,
So
it was their reason for using a cloak, wasn't it? If they can't see us, then they can't trap us within
for
the
them to be,
formation.
for them to be thick. But then would that
So
work on a cloak ship? I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know. I
know.
went with it.
Yeah,
I went with it, So it's basically just they could have not mentioned any of that and just said, let's just cloak, sneak around, and shoot some ships,
yeah.
which is what they did. So why don't they just say that?
So they were kind of like running interference because they wanted to help out Earth defence, wasn't it? Because that was
Yeah,
getting bad. So they were sort of being like a decoy for Earth defence, which was good. I thought, nice moment there. Then we go back to the Bull Queen again. She's all lonely.
yeah,
We have this chat about the loneliness thing again.
mm,
And Bev suddenly becomes brilliant at targeting and destroying parts of the ball cube.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, Data
Bev,
gets a moment where he gets to pilot, and they're going, "You can't do that, Data." Yes, I can. Please believe in me. All that, right?
yeah,
The thing is, Data is like one of the most sort of um, powerful supercomputers ever. So it'd be a doll for him to do that.
yeah. I don't know why they were arguing with him. I'd have been
Yeah, I'd
like,
just be like, "Yeah, get Data on it."
can you do it? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. No need,
It's
no
all
need
yours,
for
man.
the.
Stop talking about it and get on with it.
Just because he's got
Yeah,
feelings now doesn't mean he stopped being a computer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anywho,
I thought that was daft as well. I'd be like, for God's sake.
yeah. I mean, they even a few episodes before they were saying, "Oh, we need a 90 billion um, computer to do this particular thing on this one ship." Yeah, it's a no brainer. That is, get data on it, it'll sort it out. So that's not a problem. And then Picard plugs himself into the Borg cube and has a nice little chat with his son. And
Yeah, that was all right. That was quite. They had a nice old moment, and it's like you've changed my life since I met you 4 days ago or whatever it was. So I didn't even know you existed before like last week. Do you know
and
what I mean?
yeah,
Effectively that,
you're
but like
not alone.
I went with it. You know, I kind of warmed up to Jack actually. I kind of I've warmed
Yeah, I
up to
quite
a lot of
like
them
him. He's
actually
all
since the
right.
beginning.
Yeah.
I thought he was a bit dull at the beginning, but like
I thought he was an arrogant bastard at the first. I thought,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, I
I
didn't
mean,
take to him at all.
we can talk about the ending when we get to that bit, but like talk about arrogance, but
Yeah.
but
All right. Um,
but I mean, it's weird as well. Here's the other thing: when Picard's like, right, I'm unplugging Jack, and like, there's just no one stops him at all. The Queen's just there, but she's stuck in a pile of sort of goo, and she
mm,
can't like, because otherwise she'd be like, oh fuck off, you old fart. He's in his 80s for fuck's sake. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? You could like break his hip and
Yeah.
just stop him from doing it. There's fucking phases all over the outside or the inside. Yeah, there's no phases on the outside of the Borg cube, but there's loads on the inside because when
Yeah.
the ship's flying around, there's fucking lasers flying off. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Um, but like also, so he goes, I'm going to plug myself in. Okay, great. But he's not that guy anymore. He's positronic now.
He just
He's
shoved
got
it into
different,
his.
shoved it into his neck.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? He could have just killed himself right then, and everyone would be like, "Oh, what did he do? He stabbed himself in the neck with a wire."
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. He's positronic, so why would he? You know, he hasn't got that Irumodic syndrome thing anymore. Why would it have worked? Didn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Didn't
No.
make any sense. But I went with it, and I thought this is when he's going to die because I thought he was going to die.
Yeah, I thought they all were. I thought they were all going to blow
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
I don't know if that
Mm.
maybe decision changed from the beginning. I don't know how long it took to make this series, but you know, in a way, it's kind of like, well, they're all going to die because everyone hated the first two seasons. Let's kill off Picard because he did say he didn't want to do it again.
Well, I think
You know,
maybe by the time they got to episode 8, they thought, this is actually not bad.
yeah,
People are going to really like this.
yeah. But then I
They
don't.
probably did
Yeah,
like, they probably got a few fans in to watch it and see what they thought, sort of thing. And then they thought, well,
yeah,
maybe, yeah, we won't kill them off because we might want to use them later for,
yeah. I don't know
cameo or
because
whatever.
a lot of series do that where they will start off in a certain way and then change it because they've audience tested it. But those shows tend to be writing as they go along, which is
Mm.
ridiculous. But I don't think they did that with this. I think they only filmed it over a space of 2 months or something, so they wouldn't have really had a chance to sort of change their minds.
Well, the
So
last,
maybe this is what he wanted all along, but
I mean, the last
we all thought he
episode,
was going to die.
well, yeah, I mean, like, the last episode was like a gift to all the fans.
It really was, yeah.
It was, and so maybe before episode 9, they thought this is actually going to go quite well with fans, so we might as well keep them alive because we'll get them in a bit later if we
Maybe they
get
had a
another
few
season,
different
whatever.
endings. Maybe they filmed a few different
Mm,
endings depending on the reception, and maybe that's probably what they did actually. Maybe they filmed a few different ways, or they had different, could be misconstrued in different ways. And then
yeah,
as the series became a hit, they were like, okay, well, we're going to go with the good one.
and to sort of back that up as well, I did notice that they sort of, I mean, all the problems that they had at the beginning of this episode, they've got like thousands upon thousands of ships that are now taken over by the Borg. They've got one Enterprise,
Yeah,
and it was like, what are they going to do? It was just like, oh, we'll just go and figure it out as we go along, sort of thing. But then they've managed to figure all of that out. They've, liberated everybody again from the Borg, saved everybody, saved the universe, and it was all done in 20 minutes to go, which
yeah,
is, you know, and afterwards it was all like, they wrapped
yeah,
it up lovely in a bow, but they could have like, if they'd filmed that first 40 minutes and they'd come to a conclusion with the storyline, and then we've got 20 minutes to go, so maybe the last 20 minutes they did several different versions like you said,
yeah.
maybe one where they all die, maybe one where some of them died,
Yeah, I
and
think maybe he did that. I mean, that would be the logical thing to do. Like,
yeah,
because
yeah,
if they've got to start filming, they can't just go, let's take a couple of weeks off filming and rethink as we're going along. They
yeah,
wouldn't have been able to do that. They just don't have money for that. They have to have a plan. So they probably built in redundant scenes, maybe,
yeah, yeah,
and then just delete them as thing. I thought there was a really good bit. Um, in when Data's flying the ship through the Borg cube. I thought that was quite exciting, a bit of Millennium Falcon-y.
Yeah, yeah.
But like they did from the original series where they're all in their chairs going,
Yeah, they're going thrown about.
you know, that stuff they used to do when
Yeah,
someone would go bang and they'd all go, oh, usually Kirk
yeah,
going like that. That was kind of funny. I thought that was definitely there on purpose because you could
yeah,
see them
yeah.
sort of grinning like, this is daft. Grown people getting paid for this.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got it on a gimbal because
I don't think they have. No, I think they just go move
no,
left and they go right. You
it
do
looked
that.
alright. It looked
Yeah,
alright, but yeah, I sort of
that was
did
definitely
remind me of
like fan
TNG.
service, but I thought it was. Yeah, it was. That was kind of funny. I thought. Um,
So so I
so
guess the bit where now Picard's having a chat with his son, and Worf and Riker find the beacon, don't they?
they find like a data of some fucking computer. This is the computer that if we destroy it or access it will stop everything. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
They were
Because
like,
then
it's
a bit
this one.
later,
It's this one. Looks the same as every other one, but it's this one.
and then Data's flying towards the beacon. Um, all the communications have suddenly gone dark. Things having a chat with his son. He resolves that. His son comes out, and they're all, they're not alone. Um, um, and the Enterprise gets to the beacon. They start shooting that.
Well,
Deanna has a moment.
before that, they're like, we can destroy the beacon, but we will save the galaxy pretty much, or we do nothing and the whole galaxy dies. So, like, what do we do? And it's like we've got no choice.
Oh
And
yeah,
LaForge, good on him. He's like, even he says to Bev, "It's up to you," sort of thing. But like, there is no choice,
no,
really. Do you know what I mean? So it's like Picard and Riker and Worf went down there knowing full well they had a little goodbye,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
been an honour. It's
yeah,
like they had no, so they had to kill him. Of course, they get away, but like,
yeah. Well,
you would
Deanna
have,
has a moment, didn't she? I know where they are,
yeah,
and
that didn't make sense either.
no, and they fly over them and
Yeah,
zap
big
them up.
massive
So
space inside the ship. Yeah,
yeah, so they're all safe. Ball Queen's destroyed, nice. And then it's time for medals and rounds of applauses and stuff, isn't it? So we've got
yeah.
20 minutes of this.
So it's weird, yeah, because they're sort of like they sort of. I think that's when Chekhov does his speech, isn't it? Then because I think he's like we've reprogrammed the transporters to get rid of the DNA in the young people, so they're just
Well,
like
no, he definitely does it at the beginning.
does he?
Yeah.
Who does the thing at the end then? Because someone's like doing that,
Well,
but
it
or
might
maybe it
have
was
been
Riker.
Chekhov. It might have been
Yeah,
again.
I just can't remember what he was. Oh yeah, because no, you're right. Yeah, sorry, fucking old
But
brain. Because at the beginning he's basically saying we're under attack, and
right.
we're all screwed. We
And
need help.
and if my
That's the
dad was
thing.
here,
Yeah,
he would have said like, "You're going to bring that up," but
yeah. I think it
everyone
was.
knows.
Yeah, I think it was. This is a fucking terrible episode. We're all over the place. But like, I think Riker does that final epilogue where he's like, we reprogram the transporters. I think it was Riker doing his bit. But yeah, I think it's just because
So
we're old.
Bev's made like
You know what I mean?
admiral of
Well,
Starfleet.
this is the thing. This is the thing about arrogance, right? So there's that. Just before that, there's another bit where they beam them back up onto the Enterprise, right?
Yeah,
And back to the Enterprise, and then Worf falls asleep in his chair. I thought that was quite funny.
yeah, yeah,
He's just knackered. I noticed he had quite a hard time killing that Borg with his batleth because he had to fight him from the front rather than stabbing him in the back like he usually does, sneaking up behind people going ha like that. Yeah, and then he
yeah.
had to fight someone from the front, one guy, and he fucking
Well, he's
almost has
getting
you.
on a bit, bless him.
Yeah, exactly. I still like War. I think War's great in this whole series, actually.
Yeah, he is great. He's probably the best one in
But
it.
yeah, so we have a sort of epilogue moment. So we have short. Tuvok turns up again and
Oh
gives Seven a
yeah,
bit of a dressing down, but Shaw, being the great character that he is, actually had given her a performance review and said she's all right, and she could be
she could be a
like.
good
And
captain, whatever.
he sent
Yeah,
that when I don't know, but that was good. She was a bit tearful. So basically, he says he basically says, yeah, you should make her a captain. So they just do,
yeah.
right? So they just do. Bev gets made an admiral because you just do. Um, uh, Seven gets her own fucking ship. She gets captain of the ship, right? Even though she just broke all rules and everything like that, because you do. Raffi gets second in command, even though she doesn't work for Starfleet. She has drug problems, and she's just, a spy. But yeah, fine, just give her that job.
Wasn't she
Jack,
working for? I thought she was working for Starfleet
uh,
at the beginning, wasn't
I don't
she?
know, but
She's
I
like
don't know. And
undercover.
then Jack Crusher turns up, all sort of like cocky on the ship, and he's like, "What's my job?" And she said, "Oh, special counselor." So he gets a bullshit job where he gets paid and
But
gets
in
to fucking
nepotism.
sit in the fucking main chair, but he
Yeah.
hasn't really got a proper job. So if I was all those young people, the ensigns sitting at the front, I would be kind of miffed at this point, because even Jack says something, because
So petty.
his mum says no, because they were sitting there when they go, "Oh, we've just renamed the Titan the Enterprise G just for you," and it's because you do, right? So it's just like this group of people are just so privileged and entitled. Everyone just does whatever they want. So and then Bev says, "Oh, this fast track, Jack, that we're giving you, it's a very special honour," and he said it's nepotism, which I thought was really funny because it's completely true.
Of course it
It's
is.
just
Yeah.
utterly true,
Yeah.
right? Oh, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Seven gets a captaincy. Raffi gets this fucking number one commander job. All those ensigns there thinking, "Where's my commander job?" Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like she just walks in and no one knows who she is. Jack gets a bullshit job, gets to sit in a special chair, right? And
Yeah.
they're all just like,
They
"Yeah, let's
haven't
go out."
addressed. Can they?
Yeah,
Can he?
but
Still?
then they're like, "Where are we going? What should we do?" I don't know. Let's just go out there. Like they just do what they want.
Can he still take over people's minds?
See, I thought there would be, I reckon there is a sort of, you could write a sort of erotic fan fiction about this,
Oh
about Captain
no.
Seven and Jack Crusher, because they've got this shared Borg connection, right on. Do you know what I mean? I think
Oh,
that could happen.
James. Oh, you've
But
fallen
but
so far.
but then also all the ensigns are like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever, you do what you want to do. We'll
They're
just
probably
get
still
passed over.
happy they're alive.
We'll just get passed over for promotion because your fucking dad is the fucking admiral.
Yeah, I might
You
go
know what
for
I
a
mean? We'll
transfer.
just fly the ship and stuff, will we?
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'd
but
probably go for a transfer. I mean, they're getting in
yeah,
shit all the time, aren't they? Things
they're
getting
just
blown up.
putting people in danger and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I went with it. It was fine. I thought I would watch. I would watch it. I mean, Raffi also got like her husband. I mean,
Oh,
her
yeah,
husband sent
yeah,
her a
yeah.
message saying, "I've seen you on the telly and you're famous now. So actually, now I think you're all right, and I will allow you to see
Well,
your
that was
grandchild. Now
that
you're
that.
famous."
Yeah. Well,
Fucking hell!
I know, but I mean,
People are
that was a
so
nice.
shallow.
That was, yeah, I know, but I mean, any way to do it would be helpful, really. I mean, Worf. It was a nice moment between Worf and Raffi where,
Yeah, that was good.
yeah, he helped her out. He, hacked into her family's computer and TV and everything, and put her face on. And says, "What, she's,
Used his
save the
privilege.
universe."
Yeah,
So, yeah, used, but well, yeah, and have a little hug. It was quite nice.
yeah, that
Um,
was quite good.
and
Again, it all wrapped up nice for her. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like she did very well out of that.
And
Um,
there was a bit where the transport was where, because this is how Bev's got the admiralship, where she's single-handedly come up with an idea of how to use transporters to make everybody genetically normal again,
yeah,
and also to weed out the changelings. But I've got a feeling Pulaski did the whole thing with like changing people's DNA
yep, yeah.
in the
Nothing to do with Bev. She
transporters.
just took credit for it.
Bloody Bev.
Anyone could have done that. They discovered the DNA in the feet, right? Admiral though, Admiral,
Yeah,
Admiral Crusher,
yeah,
straight to Admiral,
yeah.
not Captain or anything.
Also,
Doctor Admiral.
Dr. Pulaski was an actual commander when she was in
Yeah.
season 2 of TNG, whereas Bev is just a doctor. Okay,
No,
she
she's
was
not.
senior
But she wasn't
because
even in Starfleet for the last 20 years. She said that herself.
that's true. But and I do remember like Bev taking over the ship one time when I think that was one of the Borg episodes, which It was one with Q in it anyway. But yeah, I think it was after Best of Both Worlds or before Best of Both Worlds. I can't remember. But basically, Hugh turns up again, and he's got like a little car drive of Borg that is they're kind of liberated, but they're not kind of liberated. But then um, it's Law. Law
Oh.
has made them all sort of feel feelings.
Oh.
Yeah, I think was that Data Law. Can't remember. Q's, I'm sure Q's around as well. Anyway, I can't remember. But yeah, I've forgotten what my point was now.
Yeah, me
God, I'm
too.
fucking rubbish today.
I don't know what
Honestly.
that was about. I haven't seen any of those episodes.
Oh,
It's probably about Borg.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. It was
I
no.
can't
It's
remember.
Admiral
Honest to
Crusher.
God, fucking
No, it's because we're
dementia.
senile. It's Admiral Crusher taking credit for basically doing everything. Now
Yeah.
she gets imagine a massive pay jump in that. So they all do pretty well out of it.
Mm.
There was one point where someone who I can't remember says, "Take us to the Metallus system." So he got his own name in there. Director
Oh,
Metallus said,
that's
"Yeah, take
right.
us to the Metallus system."
Yeah,
That
do you
was
know what? I didn't
interesting.
even realise until you
Yeah,
just said it just now.
yeah.
Yeah, of course,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
because Terry
Fair enough. I
Metalis,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
good
enough. I
job,
thought
Terry Metalis.
he
Nice
did
one.
do well. Um, there was a good bit actually. I thought was quite funny when like Deanna, being the unprofessional counsellor that she is again, is sitting there listening to Data talk about his feelings. She's looking at holidays on her iPad.
Yeah,
And I was just like, fucking hell, man. Like,
yeah.
at least pretend you're interested.
I
Do you know what I mean?
think
You've literally got nothing else to do.
I think she'd been there quite a while with Data because
Yeah,
he's experiencing everything now at the moment. And
yeah.
you get the feeling that he'd been there for 3 hours going on about what it feels like to be happy, sad, confused, all the rest
Crying
of
at
it.
looking at cats and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
So
thought was fun. I thought it was great, actually. I mean, I thought
that
all
was a
that,
nice moment, yeah.
be good to, I mean, it'd be good to see Data again, because like there's just more to learn about him now, I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was kind of like she's looking at holidays while he's going on about, I saw this guy with a cat and I cried. She's just like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that was quite funny. But yeah. So basically, they end up, they mothball the Enterprise D. There's now an Enterprise G. Everyone's got a massive promotion apart from all the ensigns and stuff. Then they all go and get drunk, right? They all go and get drunk.
Garnin's bar. Garnin wasn't
In
there.
guidance, she wasn't there. No, it's too controversial, I think, and
Yeah, she's Whoopi said a
problematic.
few sort of out of hand things lately, isn't she?
I think so. Yeah, we
Yeah.
won't get into that.
No.
But but so then we have them playing cards, right? Getting pissed, playing cards, and stuff, and like Worf getting really angry again, which is quite funny. He's just like, for God's sake,
Yeah, that's
because
right,
he's
yeah.
losing.
Fold!
Yeah, losing at cards. If I
Yeah.
flip the table over and punch in LaForge, that
Drinking
never
his
happened.
prune juice, which was a thing, TNG.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they
And
kind of. I mean, that
that
was a
joke
bit.
Date was trying to tell that came up in an episode as well where he was trying jokes out,
Yeah.
but he never got to the punchline.
Punchline of the dirty
So
limerick.
they've kept that in there. That's
Yeah,
good.
Picard made a little red sun poem, and I was like,
Yeah, I kind of
what?
switched off at that point because I was
Yeah, I
quite
know.
enjoying him getting drunk in a pub sort of thing.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah,
it. Playing card. Apparently, I read something that Terry Metalis, that interview I sent you earlier, that he said they filmed that 45 minutes of them playing cards, and they just sort of like got the bits where they were laughing and just being themselves, and
yeah,
which
which
is all
is what
right.
reminds me of Alien because that scene, what oh God, I always forget Ridley Scott. So when Ridley Scott was filming Alien, he wanted like a scene where they're all sitting around the table eating, and
Yeah,
that they were friends and that it was natural. It didn't feel forced or anything like that. So
yeah,
what he did was he left that scene right until the end of all the shooting, so that like Yaphet and Sigourney
Yeah.
Weaver and all the rest of them.
Tom
Uh,
Skerritt.
yeah, Tom Skerritt, and I always forget the English guy's name, the one who looks a bit ill.
Ian Ian Holm.
No, no, not him. The other one. Is it?
John
It's the other.
Hurt.
Hurt, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they've done all the shooting of all of the film. He got them all round a table, had food, and he just shot them for ages, so he could get that natural sort of
Yeah.
camaraderie sort of thing going. And then he put it
Yeah.
right at the beginning of the film to show
Yeah.
how they were normally, and that's what reminds me of this poker.
Yeah.
I think because
I've,
he did the same thing. He did 45 minutes of footage of them.
yeah.
I mean, they must know each other. They've known each other for 30 odd years. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, this is it. I mean, I remember Ridley Scott talking about that alien scene, and he said one of the reasons why it was such a popular thing is because up until that, it's because all the characters, they're all talking over each other, and he
mm,
says that was like just not really done in movie. It sounds weird, but like it wasn't done before that. You'd have one person talking and then another person would talking, like in a book.
yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? People don't talk over each other, but yeah, so you're not really following what people are saying because they're all talking about different things and sort of stuff. It makes it really natural.
Angela
Um,
Cartwright.
so I mean, and obviously that
Great, she
Angela
was.
Cartwright,
Yeah.
but obviously that takes, they did that a lot in TNG playing cards and stuff. I never really cared about it because I don't think cards is boring. But that was okay. And then so
But
basically everyone,
it was a thing because
mm,
even Dr. Pulaski, there's quite a lot of episodes where they're playing poker.
I think it was because it was a way to get. Well, I mean, I was going to say like mixing ranks. So
Yeah.
you could the ensigns could play with thing, but it never really was any of the it wasn't the
It's all the
engineers
senior
or anything.
staff.
It was all
Yeah.
the senior staff, the friends. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
close cadre. Um, but fine. I went with it. So then we have a little after that. We see Jack in his quarters, sort of
Oh,
unpacking his knickers and
yeah.
stuff, and then who turns up? But
Bloody
John Delancey or
Delancey.
whatever as Q, and I was just like, seriously, man, we had a whole series about you dying, right? I mean, and that even then, watching that season, that was season two. We were like, Q can't die, but like
Yeah.
they did make him die. But that was one of the main problems with season two is that he's a Q, he can't die.
I might have to
So
watch it
why are you
again. Should I
forcing this
watch it?
thing?
Should I see? This is the thing. I think when he turned up, I thought, should I watch it again? But then I thought, well, no, we
No,
kind of thrown it in the bin, haven't we? Because may it rest in peace. Because um, like the Borg are bad now again. Hopefully, Q's alive again. We want that, don't we? So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I
but
thought like the cues,
yeah.
if anything, they'd be like the elves in Lord of the Rings, where they diminish and go to the west or some shit. Do you know what I mean? I didn't
There's
think they'd
yeah.
literally die.
Well, I think I mean, the interesting thing about Q is that he's not alone. There's loads of those fucking those whatever you call them, the
Yeah,
Q continuum. But most of them, there are just much more interesting things to do in the galaxy than go around sort of like pestering human beings, turning
yeah,
up in their
yeah. He's
quarters
like a
when they're asleep and
child.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
like none of them. They're all interested in. A lot of them sort of live in between electrons and stuff. You know what I mean? They're just like it's just like the universe is too it's just not just the surface stuff. He's the only one
yeah,
who's interested, and he's only because he's an asshole.
yeah,
But like, and that's fine. That was why he was a good character because he was like, "What do you do?" He was like, like some king of old. Like some extravagant king. Like King Louis the 15th or whatever. You know what I mean? Where he just spent his entire life lavishly pissing around and executing people he wanted to, and just
yeah. Caligula,
he had no, no sort of
Loki.
boundaries to him and stuff like that, and he didn't care if people die. But like that was interesting because I mean, it's not that he was ever outwitted. He was outwitted sometimes, but most of the time he would just give up. He would just go,
Well, it,
"Fine,
well, it,
have your lives."
it was more to show how good the TNG crew were to sort of
Mm,
get through something ridiculous like being thrown into Borg space or
yeah,
being put on trial by some, Spanish Inquisition type court. Or, do you know what I
yeah,
mean? It was more to do with the fact of can oh fuck, can they get through it? And they do. And you
yeah,
think, oh right, yeah, great.
yeah.
But
I mean, it would be,
Q's
it would
always a
be,
fan favourite. Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
it would be interesting to have a human being
maybe,
that would,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe Bev Crusher cured him because like she's
cured who?
Q.
Oh, cute. Oh, because she can do anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
she definitely take credit for it. I did it. Can I get another promotion?
yeah.
Thanks.
I don't think you can go above Admiral. We had that conversation before. I had to look it up in the end.
Rear Admiral, you can get. But, president, she'll be fucking president of Earth or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, Q. So that was okay. And that set up a good, new series, um, really, where, I mean, I would watch that, but that would just be the next generation again. Do you know what I mean? A new
Mm.
crew, young crew, new ship, you know, they're going out to the world, cues about. It's just the next generation. I would watch it, but like we probably want to do something a bit different. I don't
As
know.
long as they keep
But however,
Seven's personality where she's acting like a Borg. I like it when she acts like a Borg.
yeah, she's
That's
been a
her
bit sort
thing.
of all over the place this series. I mean, she got a bit better, and I still don't really buy it. I
Mm,
still don't really buy her sort of giving the captaincy and stuff above. There's like no one else in Starfleet.
mm.
But interesting thing that Terry Matalas said in that interview is that looking forward is, if this Star Trek Legacy gets the go ahead, which it will, they're bound to,
It
right?
will now.
But it will
Yeah,
have to be Captain Seven. It will have to be because that's the way they've set it up now. Do you know what I mean? Really.
yeah.
But
But now
he
they.
said the interesting thing about what they could do is they have got a different. It's almost a different universe now because you have got um, he compared it to like the snap in the Marvel movies. When
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thanos goes like that. He said, so now you've got this thing where the entire population of Earth and Starfleet have been Borg assimilated. They've all got this, and it's like, how do they adapt to that? Because
Mm,
they've all been assimilated and then reintegrated. So how they're all going to have some sort of PTSD, even though everyone was just like, right, get back to work, we're the captains now. But like, that would be an interesting dynamic because it would change the whole of civilization to an extent. Do you know what I mean? It would like totally affect everyone's lives because everyone had been
well, I would
assimilated
have
for a time.
thought sort of like petty, feuding and wars and shit would be out the window because it's like we've got a greater enemy. You know what I mean? Sort of
But the
thing.
Borg are gone now, aren't they? Yeah, but I mean, it's a
Yeah,
bit like, yeah,
they'll
but I mean,
bring them
it's
back. They're too good to
but yeah,
shove in a
I don't
box, aren't
think it will
they?
make them better people because I mean, it's not like if you whenever we have like world wars or something like that, you send off whole generations of young people. Sorry, there's a fly in here. We send off whole generations of young men to war. They don't come back like more peaceful people. I mean, in a way they do, but they're damaged people. They're all, you know what I mean. So I think that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
It's
You,
one
you
way of
don't
how
you
they
don't think though it would make? I mean, if this was planet wide, you don't think that it would make them feel like, uh, grateful for being free and having the planet, and it should be protected against people like the Borg and stuff.
maybe, yeah. Or they've had this moment of pure connection, and
Mm.
maybe they miss it. Because a lot of people when they're in the collective, they love it, don't they? So,
I don't
sort
know.
of,
I don't know about love.
but it changes you. You become like an undying loyalty and stuff like that. So that would be interesting. But also, there would be still a lot of older people who saved the day in this one, um, who would be looking at all of those people and go, they've all been assimilated by the Borg. There's always loads of. I mean, look at Seven. A lot of people still don't trust her because she used to be Borg.
Mm.
So now the people are going to be looking at these young people and go, "You were Borg, even if for just for a bit." And now they say you're okay now, but do you know what I mean? There might be some residual DNA in there.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
that would be an interesting sort of dynamic to talk about. I mean, a bit more dark and a bit more deep. But Star Trek does that stuff all right. This was a bit glitzy and happy, a little bit too glitzy and happy, really. I think this episode, you
Well,
know,
it's just
it,
nice to have
it
something,
they did
vaguely
it. I mean, they
Star
did it.
Trek. you
Yeah, it
know.
was Star Trek, definitely, and it was a great success, and I really really enjoyed it. It's given
I
us
think the
loads to
best
talk about.
episode was 9. It definitely was. That was a
Yeah,
really good
because we found out
episode.
what the hell was going on, and
Yeah,
we had Vadik, which was great. I mean, you got the changelings are still out there somewhere. They
yeah,
just, I mean, they managed to find the ones on the transporters, most of them, so we guess, who were on the ships and that. But like the link is still there.
mm,
The people she was talking to are still out there. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
yeah,
it's not. I mean, the Borg are fucked now, but like fine. I think that we've had enough of them anyway.
yeah,
But there's plenty of other species out there and stuff like that. But I think it would be, it would be interesting to see going forward how all the young people how that experience has changed them,
mm.
um, and how you can quite easily see like factions developing, where people are like
They
we
could
don't
take it
trust
anywhere
you.
now. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to go forward. But that'd be quite deep and not so glitzy and happy. But I think that would
mm,
be a good thing. I don't think we want another you know, next generation. I thought this episode did it great,
yeah,
but like it is probably done.
mm,
I mean, I would watch it. I
yeah.
will watch it, but I would certainly watch this rather than Section 31 or whatever that's coming out, the new Star Trek movie with Michelle Yeoh, who just got an Oscar. Like, who wants to see that? It's
Well,
just
I mean, like Section
nonsense.
31 is kind of like it is an interesting concept, but it's never really been used for good. She's in the latest rubbish one, isn't she, with
Yeah, she's in
Michael
Discovery. Yeah, in
Thingy
like, but
Midget?
like in an alternate timeline as an empress of
Yeah, and
whatever.
then they become
I
like
just
mum and
switched off,
daughter. It
man.
was like, what? No,
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered with that. So I'm not really interested in that, to be honest.
no.
I'll watch it, give it a go.
I give it a
But
go, but yeah,
I mean, it's
if it's anything like the rest of it, if Terry Matalas isn't involved in, as in a director or something, I'm not
no,
interested
it's not.
because the
Um,
other guy, I can't remember his name now. Is it Kurtzman?
Kurtzman, yeah,
Yeah, he's fucking rubbish.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in that. I mean, it's weird because there was some talk a while ago about they were going to make a series, and Amazon were going to do a series of the Ian M. Banks culture novels, right?
Oh.
And I was just like, oh God, no, please, they're going to ruin it. But like, um, it's that Section 31 is what I'm thinking about this because like in a lot of the good, well, they're all good, but the culture novels by Ian M. Banks, there's a group of the culture, which is basically the human culture in the future,
Yeah,
like
and I've
it's
got some of
or
the books
sort
there.
of
It's brilliant. Yeah.
post-human, really
Yeah.
evolved from humans, but they look like humans, but they have a secret, not a secret division called special circumstances, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like Section 31. They're the ones who like are spies, and I mean, in those novels, humans are kind of like changelings themselves. You can change sex, you can change your appearance and
Yeah,
stuff
you
just by
can.
thinking about it. But it takes a year to do that. But and they've all got like drug glands, so you can just have cocaine whenever you want it and never get
Yeah, that's
hangovers and
right.
stuff.
Yeah, such
But
a great.
most
They
but
were
most
so
of the
good.
culture just lives in because they have computers, the AI, the minds that basically do everything for them. So they just spend their time just doing what humans do, which is like drinking and having sex and pissing about, really. And that's why every other civilization in the galaxy just sees them as decadent. They all hate the culture because this is what humans are like. Which is the reason why those books are good because it's all set in a mad, fantastical future
Yeah.
but like human beings are just exactly the same as they are now. They're just all like sort of fucking and drinking and doing drugs and just pissing about doing shit
I
art.
always thought that Ian M. Banks was kind of like, because you've had people like William Gibson, who sort of started off the whole sort of cyberpunk thing, and this is a very British thing, because I remember trying to get somebody to read a copy of Ver, like Jeff Noon, and
Mm.
I gave it to someone at work, and he wasn't from England, and he said I can't read it. He said the first page it just didn't make any sense to me at all because like the it just I think some of these books as well, like Ian M. Banks, like Fearsome Engine, for instance, is another one
Yeah,
where you really have to sort of put some time and effort into learning how to read it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because the concepts are so out there, but they're really good. They're really good. I might. We should do
Yeah,
a
they're all
video on some of the like really good books.
yeah,
And from the cyberpunk point of view, I always thought that A&M Banks was kind of like the bridge between William Gibson, which is quite hardcore cyberpunk, um, to like proper sci-fi. You know, sort of like
yeah,
the hard science sci-fi that A&M Banks
yeah,
does.
absolutely.
It's
With
all
sort of
very
like a bit of
conceptual.
Terry Pratchett thrown in as well, you
Yeah,
know. It's
exactly,
like
yeah,
because his books are all like very funny. The culture novels, well, they're not very funny, but they are funny, and a lot of that humor comes from the minds, which are just the artificial intelligences, which are just their intellects are just so vast that they're just not, they can't even explain like the things they can do. They can do anything, and they basically are the culture.
yeah.
It's like the
Well, they're
human
like
beings. They
gods,
they
aren't
just
they? The
they're
minds are
gods because
actually
they
sort of
do they
machine
do
gods.
everything. They do everything for
Yeah.
humans, even though humans are the face of the culture, but they're not. It's the minds.
Mm,
That's what Consider Flavor's about. That I think it might have been
yeah.
one of the first
I've
books
got
he
that
did of
there
that.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like because you know, um, yeah, a lot of people are like, they're machines. They're not really interested in life. You know, the humans are just along for the ride, really. Um, but yeah, I mean, but yes, all the good bits in those books tend to be with special circumstances, which are the people who actually go out and sort of broker deals with new civilizations and stuff, and spy and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I'm sure they'd fuck that up because it's kind of the imagery in it as well is it would cost a lot of money.
To do it
Um,
properly, it would.
and you'd have to pick like, and a lot of the stuff with the minds as well. You can't just sort of like have a a picture of a glowing orb and it's talking. A lot of its thought processes you can't really get down on the screen. They only work when you read it because you have to imagine it. I don't know,
No,
but
no, I think you're right, especially because there is that one book where it's just two minds talking to each other. But
there's one called Accession, which is one of my favourite ones, and that is basically all about the minds, all the ships,
yeah,
and the things they've all got um, like cool names that they give themselves, like shoot first, ask questions later. Like that's its name. They've all got this weird macabre sense of humour, and there's one of them. I think it might be the Grey Area or something like that, but the other ships call it Meat Fucker because it really is into humans. It just likes them, whereas the rest of them are sort of not indifferent to humans, but they're whatever. But he really likes them, so they call it
yeah.
meat fucker. It's just really
I don't know.
weird.
I don't know how they do that on screen.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, they might be able
I
to
mean,
do
we
an
could.
animated thing with that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know. I would like to see a big. I mean, did you watch? We got Foundation season 2 coming out in the summer, I
Oh,
believe. No, did you watch Foundation, the first
I
series
haven't.
last
No,
year?
I'll get on that. Yeah.
You should watch. I mean, it's got its faults, right? But and I think I read the book years ago, the first book or something, but I can't really remember. I was quite young, so I didn't have that sort of "you're getting the book wrong" feeling that I probably should have.
Well, I haven't
But
read.
I really enjoyed it. The way it's filmed, the CGI and everything is like a culture novel because it
Yeah.
just spans the galaxy and the technology is just so far in advance of us. It's just kind of not even comparable to anything we've got. It's worth a watch, definitely. So yeah, so what shall we? I suppose we better end it there then. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. No, it's a really good
Yeah,
episode. Thank you,
it was
Terry
a
Metalis.
yeah, it was a good episode. The whole series has been really really good.
Yeah.
Like I say, I mean, it kind of wraps it up a bit too neatly. I thought, this one
Mm,
like it was a bit kind of like okay, but
yeah.
like you said, I think episode 9 was the best episode,
Yeah.
but it was kind of like okay, great, we're coming up to the final thing, and then the final thing was just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but everyone's okay now, and everyone's just like getting promotions they don't deserve, because their
Fucking
friends
bad
or their
crusher.
family, yeah,
Oh.
with the people who are in charge. No
Mm,
change there then. So
yeah.
so yeah. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that we watched it, and it's given us something to talk about over the last 10 weeks
Yeah. Yeah.
or
It has.
something like that.
Yeah. It's
So it's
been
been really
good.
good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've got lots to think about what we can do next.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. See you later then.
Bye bye.
Bye.